Dream Team? It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video. Here we are, we're proving that 90s NBA players are better than today's. Obviously, you know I'm going to disagree with that. The players today are a lot more athletic. Overall, the players today are a lot more athletic. They just have a different skill sets. Whereas I think in the '90s it was more like everybody played their own roles. Today it's more of a lot of players can do a lot of different things. I just think today's players are better, but we about to hear these points. About to hear these points on why they think '90s players would be better. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You don't subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Shoot, man, I talk back. If you got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got?
When I came into the game, the big man dominated.
Thanks.
And the criteria was if you got X amount of rebounds, it was weighted.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball. In today's episode, I want to give you my reasons and my proof, my honest opinion and my honest proof why I feel that today's NBA players are not as good as back in the days in the 1990s. But before we dive into today's episode, let's take a quick look at the sponsor of today's video. Today's video is brought to you by Babbel. Now, if you enjoy learning languages just like me, you might even know Babbel already. I, for example, speak English, German, and always had a hard time with my French. And the problem was that I always loved to go to Paris, but hardly anybody speaks English there. So what did I do? I downloaded Babbel and really started working on my French. And it was super easy. The app actually works. Not only is this great for self-improvement,
I usually skip the ads. I don't know why I was watching.
I can only tell you that for me, it was amazing to finally be able to So guys, in my last couple of videos, I also gave you some more detailed takes and my personal opinion about certain things. And in this video, I want to explain to you why I think that there's even proof why today's NBA players are not as good as back in the 1990s. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I found a clip with Gilbert Arenas, you know, one of the greatest players of the 2000s, giving his honest opinion why he feels that today's players are much more skilled than the players in the 1990s. And he said some pretty outlandish things. So I want to show you a clip. I want to show you guys the clip first before I give you my take on it. So let's have a look.
I'm starting to hate everyone in the 90s that played basketball, that whole group, because they just think they shit don't stink.
Right.
Like, you know, you got, Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, both 6'7", both weigh 210. Talking about they're gonna stop somebody in today's game. Like,
nah.
6'7", 210, like you are a little guard in today's game. You guys are little guys. Like,
But that's every 10 years the game changes.
Yeah, that's what I said. They have no idea about evolution. It's like they don't take evolution.
I always have these debates with my friends. I was like, bro, can you imagine dropping LeBron in the 75? Like, just drop LeBron now that you know in 75. I was like, bro.
Yeah, that's just it's like they forget evolution. So they're like, well, this game's soft. They flop too much.
I think it's more skilled.
You know, when I saw the clip at first, I was shocked, to be honest. I was really, really shocked.
I think I guess it's easier under these rules. It's easier for the offensive player because you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't do the hand check and you can't be as physical. So, but you do have to be more skilled on the defensive end because you can't do all those things, but you still have to find a way to stop the guy in front of you. So I believe as a defender, you do have to be more skilled. Offensive player, you still need skill. You still need a humongous amount of skill to be able to score the basketball at a high clip. Score the basketball at a high clip. But I would say it's probably a little bit easier without all the physicality.
When I saw the clip at first, I was shocked, to be honest. I was really, really shocked. And don't get me wrong, everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I respect everybody's opinion. Doesn't mean that I always agree, but I respect everybody's opinion.
Same.
And when I saw the clip, I was thinking, okay, he really believes that he has a point, but we are forgetting something. We actually have the luxury that we can actually see if that's true or not. We have transitional players. And what I mean with transitional players is we have players that played in the 1990s, and we have the same players that also played in the modern day NBA. And I want to give you my take on that. Now, Gilbert Arenas compared Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen with today's players. And I think that was actually not the greatest comparison because those were exceptionally great athletes. So to me, there's even no question that they would be successful in today's NBA. But there are some other players that I want to talk about. And the first player that I want to talk about is Kobe Bryant. Now, as you know, Kobe was drafted in the 1990s, came straight out of high school, and in his prime, Kobe was always able to put up, let's say, 25 to 30 points. Now, if you take a look and go on NBA.com or go on basketball-reference.com, where you can see the stats, you can see that Kobe, and we all know this, Kobe had some serious injuries in the later part of his career, and he was really not the same player. I would say like when he was 32, 33, he lost a lot of his hops, a lot of his quickness, and so on. But still at the age of 37, Kobe was able to average 18 points in today's NBA. And when I'm talking about today's NBA, I would say like 2015 until now is almost the same type of NBA. Obviously, the game changes every couple of years, but I would say 2015 and today is almost the same. Okay. So in a post-injuries, Kobe Bryant is still able to put up 18 points per game. You want to tell me that players from the 1990s, the good players from the 1990s, would not be able to be dominant in today's NBA? Let me give you some more examples.
No, there's players that transcend eras. And there's players that where you drop them in any era, they would be great. Post-injury, Kobe in the 90s would have gave you 18 a game. It's Kobe. Drop him in any era, Kobe's going to be great. So I believe there's certain players, yes, that transcend eras, that can be good. I think Scottie would have been great. I think Dennis would have been good. I don't think. No, actually, they would have been. They would have both been amazing. Actually, I agree with what he's saying so far. But keep it rolling.
To be dominant in today's NBA. Let me give you some more examples. What about Dirk Nowitzki? I don't know if you guys have seen the clip, but when the top 75 players were selected, Dirk Nowitzki was was walking the red carpet, so to speak, and you could see that this guy could hardly walk. And I felt really sorry for him, but that is the price that some players have to pay in order to play a long time in the NBA. And I really appreciate this kind of dedication and basically all the suffering that comes post your NBA career. I really appreciate it because those guys really do it for the love of the game and for the fans. But Dirk Nowitzki, in the later part of his career, also could hardly move. Like when you would see him walk, this guy was limping all the time. But here, let me hit you up with some numbers. When he was 37, so at an age where he obviously could hardly walk, he was still putting up 12 points in the NBA. So, and we know Dirk Nowitzki was never the guy who would average 30 points per game for a longer period. But you're telling me that when a 37-year-old Dirk Nowitzki who can hardly walk is able to put up 12 points per game still in the modern-day NBA, you're telling me that players from the 1990s would not be dominant in today's game?
Certain players.
To me, that doesn't make sense. I mean, we got...
I think... I just don't think 12 points in today's game is a lot of points. Like, I've never played in the NBA. I would never disrespect anyone who averages 12 points a game. But we don't really talk about them like they're great or they're a good player. Like 12 points a game, and he was playing. Yeah, he probably Dirk is. I mean, when you're that skilled and his certain skill set, it wasn't like Dirk was just going to the rack in his last years. Dirk was spotting up outside, taking open jumpers. He's 7 foot. Just fade. He's gonna hit that fade over people. He's Dirk. He's still gonna score. But I think there's like I said before, I think there's players that transcend errors. I think there's certain players in the 90s that could come and still be dominant in the NBA. They'd be a superstar. I don't say they dominate the entire NBA. But yeah, they'd still be a star in today's NBA. But there's a lot of them that would not be that would not be a superstar in today's NBA. Y'all feel what I'm saying?
Not be dominant in today's game? To me, that doesn't make sense. I mean, we got the same example with Vince Carter. Vince Carter played in the NBA, I think, until he was 43 or 44. I'm not 100% sure. But he was also putting up like 8 points per game. And Vince Carter, obviously, even though he was a phenomenal athlete, Vince Carter was not the same player that he was in his early 30s. So to me, with those kind of players that played in the 1990s and played in the modern day NBA, they to me are the perfect example why players from back in the days would also be successful in today's game, and even more so. Then obviously, this is another point, and I'm very, very sure that most of you old school fans will agree to this argument. Today's NBA is not as defensive driven as it was back in the days. Nice. Obviously, it has a lot to do with hand checking and so on, but the general mindset of players has changed a great deal. Back in the days, you would take it personal if a player would score 30 points on you. You would give him an elbow when he comes to the lane. Like, you would really take it personal if a guy embarrasses you on defense. So today's NBA is more loosely in terms of defense. Guys get way more open shots. Guys are able to penetrate without getting punished and so on. So my logical argument is, if you have a player in the 90s that had to battle way heavier defense and had to pay a price when he comes into the lane, and when he averages 30 points, and I compare it with a player who averages 30 points in today's game, to me it's logical that this player from the 1990s, his 30 points are more valuable. Even though on the scoreboard it's the same amount of points, but if you have a tougher job to get your 30, obviously to me those points are more valuable, so to speak. I hope you can follow my arguments.
I understand where he's coming from, but I think if you can average 30, then you're a hooper. Like, if you can average 30 in today, you can go back then and you can put up 30. No, I think there's more open shots and everything because there's more spacing. More people can shoot the ball well. In the 90s, you had good shooters and you had people that could shoot, but you know what I'm saying? They weren't extending the ball to near 2 steps in front of half court. These guys are shooting like beyond the 3-point line. So the spacing is definitely a lot different. So I understand where he's coming from. If you could average 30 in the 90s, you could probably average 30 today. Like, I will argue with that aspect. But yeah, today, what he's defensive, you can't play as tough as defense. He's absolutely correct about that. You can't be as physical. You can't hand check. The game is more fast paced. It's more back and forth. You got to go. And yeah, so I don't know if it's more valuable. Would it be more valuable? Because they had to go. They had to take more punishment. I guess, yeah. Because they had to take more punishment. I don't know though. I might get that to you.
Those points are more valuable, so to speak. I hope you can follow my arguments. So to me, a player that was capable of averaging 20.
But then again, you're playing against different types of athletes on the defensive end. Yeah, they might be able to rough you up, but I feel like athletes have gotten more. I mean, the athletes in today's NBA are more athletic, so they're able to recover faster. They're able to jump higher. They're able to, know what I'm saying? And so you're playing against a different level of athlete in general, not at the top tier. The top tier 90s athletes are athletic. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying in the entire NBA. I feel like it. So then when I put it like that, I don't know if it'd be more valuable.
That was capable of averaging 25 to 30 points against defense in the 90s, in my opinion, would be able to score a lot more in today's NBA. And that's why I feel that players from the 1990s were better basketball players, because for them, in order to score, they had to do a lot more. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to hate on today's NBA. I think that today's players are better shooters. Knowing that it's easier for them to get an open shot, but still I think they're better shooters because there's more emphasis on shooting. I think the ball handling skills of today's players are definitely better. But in overall, I think players back in the days were better basketball players, because they also had to play defense. Like back in the days, you wouldn't get any minutes if you wouldn't play good defense. And there are not many star players from the 90s or 80s that were great offensive players and weak defensive players. Like those kind of players wouldn't get the recognition as Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen or Larry Bird and so on. You also had to be a good defender. Nowadays, if you are a good offensive player and you don't give a shit about defense, you can still be an MVP, which was not possible back in the 80s and 90s. Take a look at the list of all MVPs from the 80s and 90s and show me one player who was a bad defender. Just saying, James Harden. Anyway, those are my points where I feel that we have a legit proof that players from the 90s era would also be very successful in today's game. Just look at the transitional players. All right, you guys, that was it for today's episode. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.
I do agree with you that there's players, I feel like, from the 90s that could come and be great as well and be dominant as well. But I mean, you're facing a whole different athlete. You're facing a whole different system, just a whole different style of basketball. In the 90s, it was the big man. You played inside out. Get it to the big man, let him do his work, kick it out. I mean, unless you had a Michael Jordan, there wasn't a lot of superior guards in the 90s, whereas today it's more of a guards game. It's more of a spacing game. Like he said, it's more of an emphasis on being able to shoot well. And so it's just a completely different style of basketball that you'd have to get used to, that you'd have to adjust to. Do I think so? I personally think today's players are better than 90s players overall. We take them overall as a group. Today's players are better than the players in the 90s. But that's no knock to the players in the 90s. That's no disrespect to the players in the 90s. I think they're absolutely incredible. I think they have players from the 90s that transcend eras, that be good no matter where you drop them. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. If you got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You want to subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you got to do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy Neal, out.